Morning. So welcome to Something Saturday. Today I thought that we would have a go at a one sheet wonder. So I have used one of my new sets of stamps because you kind of have to use your new sets of stamps and it's so exciting. So yeah, join me and we will make a one sheet wonder, and I'm just going to switch it off and switch it over. Alright, so I have noticed that some of the lighting has been a bit off in some of my other videos, so I'm really hoping that this works this time. I've got a big light overhead of me in the hope that maybe this will do the job. Oh, bit of dirt there. So, Flowing Flowers is the absolutely gorgeous set that I am using. So hopefully you can see that, and if not, you'll be able to see it on the sheet in a minute. And these are the cards that I have made, for this particular, oh God, Heather, one sheet wonder. So it actually makes five cards out of a sheet of A4 paper, and obviously you'll then need your base cards and then any other little extra bits of colour that you want underneath it. This one here is actually one that goes all the way through, because sometimes it's really pretty to have a pattern on the back as well as the front. So yeah, I just thought that was quite a nice idea. But potentially, if you wanted to make it so that you made an even 6 cards, you could just cut this in half and put both sides onto another card and just add another saying onto the other side of it. All right, so let's get on and I will show you how I've done it. So the basis of a one sheet wonder is that you take a piece of cardstock and you cut it in a certain way. And then you can actually add it onto different cards. So excuse the fact that I have this really terrible piece of paper that has my sort of like mock drawing on it. But what I've done is I've cut out my one sheet wonder in half, then I've cut out 4 2-centimetre pieces, another 2-centimetre piece down here, 7.5, and then the rest. It'll make sense in a minute. And don't worry, I will put this on my blog so that you can actually look at it and go, okay, now I get what she was doing. So I have pre-decorated my sheet of paper, but I did think I would show you quickly how I've done that. So I just thought that looked like a really good random piece of paper, but it's not. We'll go with this random piece of paper instead. And we'll also bring in my bottom sheet. So what I've done, I've used these 3 images to create my background. So this one here has this gorgeous flower with its leaves and then something or others. And I have used my just normal Stampin' Write markers. So you'll find with the Stampin' Write markers, they have a little thin line on one side and a thick line on the other side. And I'm sure I probably told you this before. It actually took me years before I realised this. So then I was always opening this end and going, oh, drat it, that's not the end I want. So this, however, is the end you want if you're going to colour in your stamps. So colour, 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 colour. Excuse the fact that so you can probably see why I decided I was actually going to stamp it all up before you guys had the opportunity to see me doing this, because it took quite a while to do it, but it does look really pretty, so I'm happy with the fact that I did do that. And then I've used this one here for the leaves. You know what I might do is actually put my glasses on so I can see it properly. Oh, they're a little bit dirty, these glasses. I'm not sure I can see it properly. Oh well, never mind. We will soldier on. So, once you have it like that, chances are this part here is going to have dried. So just huff on it. And count up to 5 and lift off, and then you have a really cool image which has all the different colors on it. So there's that. Then the other ones that I've used this one. And this one, what I did was I actually just went straight ahead and used polished pink. Put it down like that. And in fact, I might as well make this one up into another sort of like mini one sheet wonder, as it were. And then, I could probably go with this one. So then this one, I've used this colour. And we will just go round and round and round. And then I've taken the dark green and just gone over these little speckledy bits on the outside, which once again I don't really know what they're supposed to be, but and there we go. So they are meant to be slightly sort of dotty looking like that, and there's the finished product. So like Boo Peter, here's one I made earlier. Let's just get rid of all of those. Excuse my arm in the picture for a minute. There we go. Alrighty, so that is our basic one sheet wonder piece there. And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to cut it in half. So when you cut an A4 sheet in half, you cut it at 14.8 centimetres. And then when you want to score it in half, you score it at 10.5 centimetres. So 10.5. Make sure that you're butting your cardstock right up against the edge there. That'll give you the best clean line. And there we go. So I'm just going to run my nail down those bits. So then of course you just want to go, well, do I prefer it that way round? Do I prefer it that way round? Personally, I think I prefer that side. So that will be the side that I'm going to add my saying to. But essentially, that is my first card. That wasn't so hard, was it? Now, then we go 2 centimetres. So we got 1, we got 2. Try and keep them in the same order. Oh, 3, and yikes, 4 at 2 centimetres. And then we turn it on its side and we decide whether 2 centimetres would look nicer off there or off the other side. I actually think it would look nicer off this side, so we'll stick to this side. So there we go. So those ones will be the one that goes that way. Then we've got a 7.5 centimetre bit, and I actually think that, let's see. So it's going to be a piece like that and a piece like that, or 7.5, a piece like that and a piece like that, which might actually be better way round because of this big gap. Otherwise we'd just have like a big gap in it. So that's our last 2 pieces. So that's our last 2 cards. Okay, then we need something for underneath it. So bear in mind, so we'll go with this card first because this card is really nice and simple and it uses these 3 pieces here. So let's just move those pieces off to the side. So I've picked out some of the colours that I've actually used. So this time I just went with the in colours. So they're the new-ish. So there'll be 2021 through to 2023 in colours, these ones are. So I've got the soft succulent. Oh, that's the one I was going to use. The fresh freesia. I didn't even think about getting that one out. I wonder where it's got to. Hang on 1 minute. Because I thought it's such a pretty colour and I really don't use it very often. There's my fresh freesia. Let's just find somewhere to rest that now. All right, I'm just going to cut this one in half as well. I tend to use everything as an A5 sheet, just because I find that's quite convenient. Okay, so in that case, we are going to go with 2.5 centimeters. So do you remember we cut this one at 2 centimeters? So 2.5 should give us that nice little border on the edge. 1, 2, 3. Right, let us make this card up. Oh, my cutting blade's getting a little fluffy. Need to order some more, actually. Righty-ho. Where's my silicone mat? So let's pop a bit of that along there and then just wipe it down and pop it onto there. So now just remember that this should go right to the very end on either side of your card. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Wonder which way around it's meant to be. That way. Okay. After having said keep them all in order, of course, Heather hasn't. Oh well. At least I can still work it out. So let's just take that down and pop that one on. Not happy that I've got fluffy bits. Oh. Just use up the glue that's on there. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, and then I will position these onto here. Is that right? Yes, yes, and yes. And then we've got space for a saying at the bottom there. What am I going to go with? I love the sayings in this, actually. We've got time for a happy dance, sending a card instead of a text, a really nice font for happy birthday, just a note, I like you. Not a huge one that I'm going to use often. And I do like people, but it's just slightly weird to say that, I think. It's American. And thank you. So thank you is obviously not going to sit properly on the bottom of this. So it's just going to be one of those guys. I might go with just a note now on this one. And find myself an appropriate... There we go. I do recommend as well, so if this is the first time you've used this set and you're not 100% sure whether it's going to stamp straight or not, this is the way to go with it. I'm going to take out my soft succulent here. So just ink it up, and you've got the bottom of your page here, so just pop it down there the way that you think it's going to be straight and see if it actually does stamp straight. Because if it doesn't stamp straight, it just means that your sticker on the back is a little bit skew-if. So it just means that you need to compensate for that when you stamp it, if you want it straight. So if you decide that actually, what the heck, it doesn't need to be straight, then it won't matter. But it kind of does with this, and I would like it to be straight. So here's hoping. There we go. And then we can pop these guys straight onto there, and that'll be our first card made. So let's grab a bit of glue. Doesn't actually matter if it's a wee bit longer, because you can obviously trim the end up. And I stick my finger in the glue there. Two, and last one. Potentially, unless you have a really good eye for lining things up, which I'm really lucky that I do actually have quite a good eye for lining things up, you might want to go ahead and put the two outer ones on first and then shove the inner one in so that you can line up the inner one in the middle there. And then we can trim off these little side pieces. One, oh, two, three. And there we have it. Card number 1. Nice and simple. So that's the 2 comparisons on there. And let's pop those ones out at the front there to one side. That seems to have a bit of dirt or something on it. Okay, so the next card, we'll pop this one together next. So we need to have lots of sews in this. Sorry, I'm, yeah, not, for some reason, that's what seems to be coming out. Lots of sews. I did actually think about this afterwards and thought, you know what, I should have left room. See now that one I didn't check beforehand and it seems to be on a bit of a slant. So I might have to do something with that in a bit. But potentially you could put this on a slant. You don't have to do it exactly the way I've done it, obviously. And let's use, oh, maybe some of this colour under this one. So again, you want a 2.5 centimetre piece. 1 and 2. Come on, off you get there. Alrighty, so we will just add that one onto there. And the reason that one isn't quite so long is because, if you remember, we took it off the side. So after we'd cut all the other 2 centimetre pieces out, which means that you're just going to have it slightly shorter, which is fine because that's what I actually wanted, was slightly shorter, because it's not going to be, uh-oh. Come on, move back down again. Yikes. Uh-oh. No, don't stick. Right. Oh, crisis averted. There we go. Right. Let's go with that and that. And I think I might just move it along slightly so that I've got, yeah, that would work. And I reckon if I do it a wee bit higher, I can put my saying in. In fact, you know what might be even better is to put my saying in first. Let's give this one a quick clean off. Let's take out just a note and pop that back away again. Whoopsie, go back in there. And what am I going to go with this time? Sending a card instead of a text. Time for a happy dance. Let's find out whether time for a happy dance is actually straight, shall we? We won't go with that colour though. We'll go with pink, green. We'll go with the polished pink with this one, I think. Time for a happy dance. Yeah, that looks straight. Question is, can I get it on the card straight? No, that's not too bad. Excellent. Let's give that a quick clean off. Oh, put it back in the packet. That way my block will be ready for my next colour and my next stamp. Oh, yes, that's the other thing that I have done with this one, is I've actually added the beautiful big flower into this one, which is pink. That probably wasn't a good idea. Oh, you know what? We're going to ring the changes and we're going to go fresh freesia for this big flower. Why? Because I can. So let's just pop that into there. And oh, didn't think that one out very well either, did I? Oh well. That's all right. Nobody else knows except for, you know, anyone who's watching this. So there's just a few of us that know about it. The fact that I didn't quite leave enough space, I should have done it a little bit higher, but hey, that's all right. Each card is meant to be different, especially when it's handmade. Alrighty, let's pop. Oi. There. Get on there, glue. Let's pop that piece down there. And we will go with a piece across this way. Just going to move that glue around a wee bit. I actually think I like it that way round, in fact. All right, I did deliberately leave it so it came out of both sides, because otherwise the piece of cardstock I had there had quite a big gap of no stamping on it, if that makes sense. So this big gap there. All right. So card number 2 done. Of course, what I plan to do as well is to add a little bit of bling to it too. And I'm thinking that I might add something else up the top of this. I'll see how I'm feeling about it once I've looked at it all properly. So that's card number 2 there. Card number 3, let's move on to one of these guys. Oh, which one are we going to go with? There's that and there's that. Let's pop that one to one side for the time being and let's move on to this one. So this one I've gone with a piece. Just, what colour shall we go with? Let's see what looks good behind this, shall we? There's that, there's that. I mean, they're all going to look good behind it, but it's, there's not enough of that in there, is there? No. Or that one. I actually think the pink looks nicest with it. So if you were voting on one of the other ones, I'm terribly sorry about that. All right, so the way that I actually did this one, I didn't measure it. I did this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that is where I want to cut it. And then I brought in my cutter and just lined up my little cutting edge there and cut it off. I quite often do my measurements like that just so that it will work in with the size that I actually want it to work in with. And that way I don't have to measure it either. So it saves me having to get out a ruler and things. And that was actually really organised of me to use my scissors to do that, because usually it's just my thumbnail. So that you know, sharing is caring and all that sort of thing. We've got that. Now we need to have a little saying. I reckon this is a happy birthday card, so I'm going to go with my happy birthday, and in fact we are going to use the evening evergreen on this, even though there's only like the tiniest weeniest bit up in the corner there. Oh, and let us hope that happy birthday actually fits in there. Fingers crossed. Oh, look at that, perfect. These are actually really great sayings for little sort of like small gaps. So happy birthday, and let's just add our glue down the sides and down the middle, and let's shove that into the middle of our card. I do love using Tombow because it does give you that little tiny bit of wiggle room, which some of the other glues don't actually allow you that. So if you're looking at it and going, no, that's not quite straight, you've got that sort of second or two. It's admittedly it's not long, but you know, it's better than nothing. So there we go, that's the next one. And then we move on to this one. So this one here, that one there, and then we just decide on a colour behind it again. Nah, I like that one. Alrighty. And, oh, that'll work. Nice. Excellent. That'll save me having to cut it. So we're going to go with the practical way of, you know, the fact that I just happen to have this cardstock and it happens to be this size and it happens to fit into there. So then we're just going to go with about there. A lot of my cutting is done like that, I have to admit, and then afterwards I go, oh, you know what, if I'm going to teach that, maybe I should have done it to a specific size, because then I have to go through and measure things, and then I find out that they're like 7 and, you know, 4.5 or something, and then I go, oh, I'm going to have to redo that and make sure that it's actually a logical measurement. There we go. So let's add our piece of cardstock to this one. And onto there. Nice. That one's going to go on there, and we're going to send a card instead of a text this time. Oh, might need to clean off my happy birthday, otherwise I'm going to have remarkably dirty looking hands at the end of this. Let's pop happy birthday away. In you go. So when you have your stamp set, I don't know if you noticed this with mine, I actually leave this piece in there deliberately. So this piece I actually leave the backing on as well, so it can actually move around a little bit. I don't know why I do that, but I just do. And if you leave that piece in there, then you always know how many stamps are missing. Then that way you can go, oh, that's right, that's where that stamp's come from. It's come from this set. I just find it really convenient to do it that way. So sending a card instead of a text. What colours have I used in the other ones? You know, I'm going to go ahead and use Evening Evergreen again. I really like this colour. Let's see whether I can manage to do this straight. I actually can't tell whether that's straight or not. What I might do then, yeah, I'm gonna, because on the other card that I did, it was a little bit off kilter anyway, so I'm gonna deliberately off kilter it like that. Why? Because I can. It's my card. You can do your cards your way. And let's add some glue to the back of this one. It is a really nice quick way of making a heap of cards doing things this way. So where did I put that other one? That's not it. Oh, there it is. Whoopsie. That's the difference between those two cards. Sorry, I'm just going to move that out of the way. All I've done is just put it onto that offset and offset that as well, just because I know that getting that one straight is a little bit of a challenge for me, at least. All right, so the other thing I want to do is I actually want to add a saying to this one, and I feel like it's going to have to be, where's the other one gone to? This one here actually had some pieces that didn't stamp too well along the side. So I actually figured I could just put my saying straight on top of those bits, whereas this is actually kind of stamped quite well all over. Therefore, what I'm going to have to do is use a stamp that is quite deep in thick. Not quite what I'm after either. Oh, excuse me. Not sure where that came from. Stamp that's going to show up well. Because I can't think of what I'm trying to say here. And I'm sure somebody will happily tell me. Lindy's usually pretty good at that. What am I after, Lindy? And we're just going to add it straight into the middle there, because that has a nice gap in it where I think that it will sit all right. And that's on a bit of an angle. Excellent. Wonder if that means I should just add a few more. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to restamp it and put something on there. So I'll tell you what, if you've enjoyed the video, please do share the love. And I'm actually going to put all these onto my blog, and I will show you how I have decorated them all on my blog, and how I've sort of like compensated for any bits that are on a bit of an angle. Let's just see whether I can fit these onto here. Not really. Kind of feel like there might be more space out the side here. Not really sure. But it's such a pretty set, isn't it? So yes, do share the love and come back and join me next Saturday. And I hope you've enjoyed it. And please do check out the blog post about it, because that will give you all the up-to-date info. Thanks, bye.